space you can find. Glad to see that I could help make your life a bit easier. But have you ever thought of how I felt? You need to think about your behavior.
I don't know what to tell you, but it sure is something special here. Yes, you're listening to Butch On Sports. Simply Butch is here. And as always, thanks for tuning in here, boys and girls. Oh, boy. Just the music gets me here. Okay. Hey, hopefully you had a great weekend. And a good one. And the upcoming weekend is going to be hot and funky for you here. I just know it. And then leads into next week where the holiday weekend is abroad here. So, have some fun. Get ready. Get set. And let's go. Let's get to some sports news you can't get enough of. And as always, I always say thanks for tuning in, boys and girls. The Detroit Tigers right now at Comerica Park. They're just getting started. We coming on this podcast around about 25 after the hour, 7 o'clock here. And yes, the Detroit Tigers taking on the Oakland Athletics down at Comerica Park. No score right now as the Tigers are going about 6 losses in a row after sometime last week when we did the podcast here. Tigers were doing very well. There's only 2 games out. 1 game from 500, and now they have fallen to a no-not-one, has not won 1 game since. Maybe we shouldn't hex the Detroit Tigers and boost them up when they have a good week or good standings or what it may be. Maybe we just stay silent. Nah, we got to tell you. We just got to tell you. So, hey. The other news with Detroit Tigers that maybe you know or don't know that they did sign right-handed pitcher Casey Mize from Auburn University, their first overall selection in the 2018 Major League Baseball draft for first-year players in 17 starts for Auburn. Mize was 10-6 at a 3.30 earned run average. He's 6'3", 220 pounds. He's a junior. He racked up a whole heck of a lot of strikeouts, 156, I tell you there, and 12.24 strikeouts per 9 innings, although he didn't go 9 innings in every game that he pitched in there, leading the Southeast Conference in 3 of those particular categories, indeed there. Mize is signed, and a couple other Detroit Tigers were signed there. We have not got the details on those particulars as of yet. Of course, they don't tell us how much money they're giving them there, but we did find out from a reliable source that Mize signed a $7 million contract bonus. So hopefully the Tigers don't mess around with this guy here. Get him in the fold here. Let him do some pitching and get him up to the major league level as quickly as they possibly can. Because right now, this year looks like it's going to be squashed. Because right now, our pitching ain't worth a good doggone. And I've said it once and I say it again. Tiger pitchers are not good for no more than 5 innings. At 6 innings is a bonus if they get that far. But 7th inning on, forget about it, boys and girls. Our bullpen is a little bit to be desired right now there. Although they have little streaks and wilds and flutters, the bullpen right now is not ranking worth a good doggone here. So let's get some pitchers in there who really want to show their oats, want to stay at the major league level, and some of the pitchers who are not getting it done, well, you know. Detroit Tigers Foundation, affiliated with Illich Charities, in conjunction with the Michigan High School Baseball Coaches Association, will host their 37th annual East versus West All-Star Game at Comerica Park, located in the district. Of course, there tickets are now available for purchase at the box office beginning at 10 a.m. on the day of the game. They're $10 for adults, $5 for children under the age of 12 and under, and boys and girls who are attending in their uniforms will receive a free ticket at the box office. Admission also includes a special 37th annual All-Star Game program there, okay? Gate A is the opening place where they open up at 6 p.m. Fans can park in lot 1, 2, or at the Tigers Garage for a nice little reduced total of $7. Oh boy, that should witten your whistle of the future of baseball there. Excuse me. And speaking of future of baseball there, out of the rosters that I took a look at there, which are a whole heck of a lot of downriver participants there, which I'm very happy of because I do a lot of reporting in the downriver west area of the south area of Detroit. From Detroit there was not one Detroit public school player on either roster, east or west. And that should really light up the doggone Detroit public school system like a cannon. And I'm going to go try to reach out and extend my pleasantry to the athletic person in the Detroit Public School League and find out what's the concern, what's the problem there, and why we don't have many of our kids playing in that All-Star game, which is in the city of Detroit, which they do perform in the city of Detroit. But however, it's just very hard for me to believe that, you don't have maybe one or two of those particular players in that All-Star game. I have been a very big advocate, being that I did come from the Detroit public school system, where times back then were very much so different. You had a lot of minority kids as well as city kids going in there, playing baseball. The baseball scenario in the city of Detroit and the metropolitan Detroit areas are outside Detroit are very, very well dealt with here. There's some spots there not dealt with at all, and I'm not going to embarrass those particular cities or communities with their particular nonchalant failures there. But the majority of them outside the city of Detroit are very well dealt with there. So with that particular saying there, Detroit public school system got to do a much better job of attracting players, getting players to play in there, and also alternatives for the off season there. Recreational baseball used to be great in the city of Detroit. And that's including the traveling leagues, the recreational leagues, the PAL League, which in particular, to me, in my opinion, is the best league in the city of Detroit being functioned right now. The outside leagues that are major league affiliated there are not being functioned at all. I've spoke about that on many occasions. There got to be some changes made in those particulars, being that some of the doggone recreational centers are not harvesting or applying themselves in marketing kids to come out there to those particular recreational centers and dealing and playing some baseball. And that comes from a good marketing term, or you're knocking on doors, or you get into these schools in March, when normally that's when practices or camps are starting to be available for the particulars for recreational baseball. And it's not happening. You got one or two maybe leagues in maybe a city, and that's not good. There's many kids who want to participate in baseball if it is offered to them. But again, affordability is a key. And every parent can't afford to put their kid in and pay humongous amount of money for the kid to play baseball. Of course, when fields are drying up, halfway being maintained, and the list goes on and on where kids can get together with the kids on the block and maybe form a game or whatever it may be. This was what I used to do when we were kids. There, that's in addition to the leagues that we were playing in. It's not happening anymore in the city of Detroit. And maybe because of the crime, maybe because of the attitudes of how we deal with our recreational centers and whatnot there. Maybe it's some priorities that are not being taken into consideration of our children coming first. But again, it just smells to high heaven that no, and this day pointed it all out when we're talking about the Detroit Tigers Foundation, Illich Foundation. The Tigers and all got to invest more time in the city of in the city of Detroit to get kids to play more baseball, and the Tigers are failing in that. And they got to get it together quick, fast, and in a hurry. They're investing money in other places, but they're not investing it in the city where these kids can come out and play baseball. And also get some of these people who've been in there 1,000 years and don't want to change their attitude. This is not their league. These are the children's leagues. And parents got to get off their rear end and start participating in the process to make it better for the kids. I'm just saying it when no one else will. Detroit Red Wings announced that there are numerous free fan-friendly activities surrounding the sold-out Red Wings 2018 development camp that's being held right now at Bedford Center inside Little Caesars Arena, starting today through the 30th, which is Saturday. Yes, you can see our future right down there at the Little Caesars Arena. Once again, it's been sold out, but the fans who are in availability of that, there's some amenities to be had, so check them on out. And just to let you know, Detroit Red Wings agreed to terms with Tyler Bertuzzi for a 2-year contract and right-winger Martin Freak for a 1-year contract. Bertuzzi's 23 years old. He split the season with the Red Wings and the American Hockey League Grand Rapids Griffins after missing training camp due to injury. He's done pretty doggone well for the Red Wings. Good enough where they're investing some more money in him and some more time in dealing with Tyler Bertuzzi. Fred completed his first year with the Red Wings, 2017-18. He registered 25 points, 14 penalty minutes in 68 games for the Red Wings. They're investing one more year in this guy here. Hopefully he can bring some substance to Detroit Red Wings climb to get back into the Stanley Cup race there. And also, want to mention that Detroit Red Wings also Executive Vice President and General Manager Ken Holland announced that they have hired Dan Policeman as an assistant coach. Policeman, 47 years old, recently worked as assistant coach along the Red Wings head coach Jeff Blatchel in the 2018 IIHF World Hockey Championship in Copenhagen and Herning, Denmark, helping not the Red Wings, but the United States capture their 5th medal in the tournament's history, beating Canada 4-1 to win a bronze medal. Previously, Policeman has spent 2 seasons as the head coach for the Buffalo Sabres in 2015 through 17, 6 seasons as the head coach of the Pittsburgh Penguins in 2008 to 2014, taking over the Penguins in 2008 and to 2009 campaign and helping that team win and defeating the Red Wings in the Stanley Cup Finals. So, Jeff Blatchel, beware. Maybe. Jocelyn Moore, do you know her? She is named the NFL's Executive Vice President of Communications and Public Affairs. That was announced yesterday. Marilyn Tucker of the National Football League Chief Operating Officer announced that particular appointment. Moore has served as a NFL Senior Vice President of Public Policy and Government Affairs in Washington, D.C. She'll be based in the league's headquarters in New York, and she'll report to Tucker. As her new role, she will oversee the communications, social responsibility, and government affairs area for the National Football League. Jocelyn has had a proven record of development of efficient communication strategies in the variety of dynamic and challenging environment, Tucker said there. Jocelyn has bring a her perspective and a passion for communications to our fans and other stakeholders to strengthen our voice and put forward and focus on our game. Moore joined the NFL in 2016, led the league public policy and legislature agenda, coordinated closely with the NFL team on local legislation, regulations issues, and regulatory issues there. Also, Moore strengthened the league position in both Congress with external advocacy, organizing, leading numerous initiatives, including strategy engaged around the players' health and safety, tax reform, trade, and other communications there. And that also includes maybe the kneeling and the prosing of NFL players in there. She's going to have a hand in dealing with that, and good luck to that particular agenda there, because that is not intact. Really is not, you know. And I don't want to get political involved in that particular situation, because we all know what that led into. However, here's the deal. The initiative is, and I'll repeat it again, if you don't want to stand up for the national anthem like everybody else, and deal with it, okay, and deal with it, and stand at attention, hey, stand in the breezeway area, in your locker room, or in the tunnel during that particular time. That was the NFL initiative rule in that particular day. They don't want it happening on the field. They want everybody united during the national anthem. That is it, plain and simple. You may not like it. You may want to bring other things into play, because, yes, those particular things that some of these NFL players, including Colin Kaepernick, has made it an initiative that we got to spend more time in. And I agree with the gentleman there. Players, as well as coaches, as well as personnel in the NFL, has to have some light and have some influence in how certain things are going in this country when it comes down to police protection, and when it comes down to harassment, when it comes down to initiatives that's going to help everybody instead of a chosen few. Okay? But it's a time and a place for every doggone thing. And we got to start somewhat stopping the complaining and the name calling and stupidity that leads into more stupidity, and never touch on how to solve the problem. We don't have good conversation and good dialogue with each other, ain't none of it's going to get solved. Just plain and simple. Argentina. Have you watched the World Cups? I have. I've had some fun with that. Teams like Peru, Argentina won today. Denmark and I think France tied 0-0. One more team played today. I can't think of it, boy. I think Spain, I do believe, played. Okay. Some of those teams I've just mentioned, they advanced to the knockout of 16. That means 16 teams. And a knockout, they no longer get to stay around there. If they snooze and lose, they're gone. But during the Argentina game, legend Diego Maradona, okay, let me get his name right here, reportedly is right now in stable condition after a health scare following the Argentina dramatic 2-1 win in the World Cup victory over Nigeria on Tuesday. Maradona stumbled away from his seat at the game. He looked unwell. He was helped to the back of the stadium interior, where he collapsed in a chair. Right now, he's in stable condition right now there. We wish Diego well, okay, as a lot of excitement can raise a whole heck of a lot of problem there. And let me tell you something. The World Cups has been very exciting to me here, man. I've just watched some great games and some of the best announcing of the games that I dealt with. All games can be dealt with like the World Cup is, with the announcers who do play-by-play announcers who do the game. Sports would be a lot more fun. with those goals, and Andre Telemundo yesterday in his famous goal call, held his breath for over 31 seconds. I put a clock on it. 31 seconds. That's remarkable. I can probably hold my breath when I take a drink of water, maybe. I don't know. That was pretty good. But yes, 4 more games tomorrow, including Mexico and Brazil will be participating. So I'm excited about that. I hope you are too. Those games will be on tomorrow. They'll be broadcasted on Fox or Fox Sports 1. Around the area about 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock normally is the time of those particular games. 2 at 10, 2 at 2 in p.m., of course. Let you know that. Finally, maybe not be finally here. We got more sports news. We're going full blast today. Janoris Jenkins, he's a New York Giant cornerback. As we know, the OTA practice is gone, and so a lot of players have moved back to L.A. and Florida, the warm weather states there where their homes are, summer homes are there. However, Janoris' house in Bergen County, New Jersey, was turned into an investigation scene when a body was found on the premises. Marty report says TMZ reported Jenkins had been in Florida and was not at home when the police arrived. TMZ and Fort Lee Daily Voice reported that the police were investigating Jenkins' house. Law enforcement authorities confirmed that to the Voice that the body was found. A body was found. TMZ reported that a body was discovered in the basement of the house. The Daily Voice confirmed that a worker found a male body in the basement of the house about 10 a.m. today. ESPN Diana Rossini also confirmed that the police confirmed that a body was discovered in Jenkins' property. Rossini said that Jenkins had been in Florida since the Giants minicamp had broke up earlier in the month. Mike Jafalo of the NFL Network reported Tuesday evening that law enforcement sources are still investigating the case that they say possibly a strangulation suffocation case was available. So we'll probably hear more about this particular situation, where how did this particular person get in this particular home that's only being guarded by maybe some workers around the home and etc. there. We don't want to put information out there that is not used. That's why we use the quotes of where we got these reports from. And finally, doing this podcast here, Dwayne Casey. Yes, Dwayne Casey, our new head coach of the Detroit Pistons, won the NBA's Coaches Award, awarded Monday by his peers for the work he did with the Toronto Raptors. But he saved his greatest praise for his new employee, Detroit Pistons owner Tom Gores. Casey, 61 years old, led the Raptors to his 59-23 record and earned the National Basketball Association Coaches of the Year award. After the top-seeded Raptors were swept out of the Eastern Conference playoffs by LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers for the third straight season, Casey was told showed the door. Trending news in the acceptance speech, Casey admitted confidence was shaken, and I saw that, a little piece of that particular, while I was writing last night there. However, Gores hired him a month later, declared himself energized. This is Casey, what he said about himself there. So all in all, a happy ending on that particular one. And the Detroit Pistons next year win the NBA Finals, are in the NBA Finals, Toronto Raptors are going to be throwing eggs at themselves for letting this guy go. It's not about the coach can do all he can, but if the players are not conducive of listening to the coach, doing what the coach kind of ordered for them to get better, or maybe the upper management getting some players that's going to fit on in for certain responsibilities to make a team better, then what can the man do? What can he do? This is what he has to work with. That's why he loved Detroit Pistons, because he got some people to work with. Hopefully he can get the band of players that we have for the Detroit Pistons to do better because they stunk last year. This is a team that should have been in the playoffs, bar none. Talented enough to be in the playoffs, bar none, and didn't show it. They gave a half pass, the monkeys, you know what, and you can repeat the rest to yourself. And with that saying, boys and girls, with that all saying there, we're done with this availability of Butch On Sports. Oh my goodness. We'll have some more sporting news and what it may be. We're going to take Wednesday off. We're going to do this again on Thursday night. Promise you, boys and girls. We'll do 3 podcasts this week. I don't know why. Because you asked for it, that's why. So, hey, we're going to do that there. Check out Butch On Sports on Facebook there, okay? Go to Butch On Sports for the podcast there on the Facebook page. You can also go to Podomatic. Yeah, Podomatic.com on that particular website and see the Facebook there. Type in FIMPLYBUTCHTOO.Podomatic.com. You can also go to the game show, Scott Nason's famous site, Scott Nason Sports on YouTube. You can also check me out on the game on Monday nights. I normally come on around about 6:45 to give you news and views of the metropolitan Detroit area and the sports news of the pros and whatnot there. I usually do that. And you know what? Let me give some congratulations also before we go off the air to Caressa Shields, who won her match against Hannah Gabriel, who give congratulations to her also, who was a class act after the post-game interview there after losing a fight there. Christina Hammer, I tell you, is in the grill of Caressa Shields. So we're going to see if a good fight come out of that. That was the best fight I've seen in 20 years. And these were 2 girls in there fighting, or 2 women, I should say. It was a good fight. I don't care what you say. And hopefully we have more. I like boxing. Hey, we're done. Bye-bye, everybody. Butch On Sports is a presentation, of course, of Oh My Darling Productions.